Hey, 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 happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch. Welcome aboard, everybody. Tonight is Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. This is live stream 1213. Tonight, we're actually going to dive on in and take a first look at the Pirate Republic Africa Gambit from GreenFeet Games. And as you can see, this is a monster-sized box. So that is what's on the agenda tonight. Of course, we are also going to tackle the latest in tabletop gaming news, which we always take on first here around these parts. So if you are tuning in because you want to see the unboxing of the Pirate Republic Africa Gambit, keep in mind, probably going to be about 35, 40 minutes before we get into the unboxing. So just kick back, relax, enjoy yourself. We will get to it in just a bit. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit gaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Then, of course, because this is a live stream, there is chat available. It's not on screen. One of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least an hour before you can take part in chat. Another way I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you check that box and you want to say howdy, maybe get a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my very best to respond. First out the gate tonight is our good friend of the show, the Madman, Semper Buffo, and Lord Cost 2000, as well as Wallona's Cave, are also joining us in chat. I'll take a guess. The lovely and talented Miss Sarah D might be lurking in the shadows. She is another of our chat moderators. So welcome, everybody. Gotta say, just a couple of moments ago, there was a big-ass wasp down here in the Duct Tape Studios. I have absolutely no idea how it made its way down here. And I was readying some stuff, and all of a sudden I see something out of the corner of my eye, and I thought, oh, what is it, a spider? So I'm looking, I'm like, oh, holy shit. About that big. I'm like, yeah, we're not going to let you survive. I normally don't kill insects, spiders, things like that. A lot of times I run across something and I just scoop it up in a postcard and flip it outside. No. Wasps, yellow jackets, no. They get death. So anyway, I see that Sarah D is with us tonight. Sean O'Donnell's popped on in also. Very cool. Very nice. All right, everybody, let's jump on into the news. Because arriving July 31st is the deluxe Starfinder 2nd Edition adventure, Murder in Metal City. Here's the scoop. A strange message beckons 6 strangers to striving, an expansive megaplex city on Abalon, the planet of machines. There they gather in a neon-lit cafe surrounded by androids and robots to meet an old friend. The bartender brings them refreshments and a holographic recording from their mutual acquaintance. Greetings, friends. If you're watching this, it's because I've experienced an unexpected shutdown. In organic terms, I'm dead. The discovery of their friend's unexpected murder turns these strangers into a crew of unlikely investigators. To find the killer, they'll need to outrun murderous robots, outwit clever foes, and analyze perplexing clues, all while wondering if they're hunting the murderer or if the murderer is hunting them. The streets of Striving can be an unforgiving place, and the investigators will need all their skills, resources, and no small amount of luck to come out ahead, solve the murder, find the killer's hideout, and bring them to justice. Murder in Metal City is a deluxe introductory box set adventure for 4 first-level Starfinder 2nd Edition characters containing numerous tools to assist game masters, including player and creature tokens, an immersive poster-sized double-sided battle map, investigation handouts, item cards, NPC cards, and a GM reference sheet and investigation tracker. Everything required for a premium adventure experience. Murder in Metal City features 6 new pre-generated characters with player handouts, 1 for each class from the Starfinder player core. A double-sided tactical Starfinder flip mat featuring key locations from the adventure, articles about the machine planet Abalon and the megaplex city of Striving, 1 new playable alien ancestry, Khazars, the plant-like protectors of Abalon's jungle-filled ice wells, an article detailing the tech faiths of the Starfinder universe, from deities like Triune and Limbidium to the unique philosophies of the robotic Anacytes. Multiple pages of creature stat blocks and NPC descriptions for the combat and role-playing encounters in the adventure. The deluxe adventure will carry an MSRP of $39.99. You can also grab the PDF, which will be available on July 31st, too. You can get that for $19.99. I have to say, this is pretty packed with stuff for $39.99 if you consider the Starfinder adventures, usually $26.99, $29.99. So, and that's usually just a soft cover book. Now, granted, they will usually clock in at about 90 to 100 pages. I think the adventure with this is 40 pages. So I've got to say, strangely enough, as the Madman also points out, they're really looking forward to this new Starfinder 2.0. So this is already in transit to me. I should have the July 31st releases on the 16th. At least, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. It'll be on the 18th. Today is the 16th. So supposedly Friday, the 18th. Gonna have the new player core. Also have this box set. So here's the weird thing. So usually once something ships, then I have access to the PDFs in my Paizo Inc. account. So yesterday, I go in and I see, oh, sweet. The Starfinder 2E, the player core, that's there. This adventure's there. So, of course, I downloaded the PDFs because, of course, there's some Pathfinder releases coming on the 31st. Going to give Sammy a heads up on that and get her a head start. So anyway, so I go and I unzip the zip file that's the Starfinder, and it's an image as a placeholder. I'm like, damn it. I was hoping to get a jump start on it to maybe actually be ready to do a review when the player core arrives on Friday. So I thought, okay, well, at least let me take a look at the adventure, get a head start on that. And of course, all the other stuff, NPC cards, pre-gen characters, the maps, the tokens, that's how I'm sharing these images with you. These are all from the PDF. But the adventure is not there. And I was like, what the hell's going on? So this should be pretty cool. I might give a shot at running second edition Starfinder with the gang. At least maybe like this introductory mission here. So we'll see. We shall see. But I'm thinking what I might do if the package does show up as intended. I think what I'll do is possibly share a first look at the player core on Friday. I will shoot a standalone video. And then on next Tuesday's show, we'll do the Paizo preview. So even though we already had a July Paizo preview, we still have more items arriving. I'll have to take a peek to see if there's anything like later in August that's coming out, because otherwise I'll just say it's essentially the August Paizo preview. So stay tuned. So let's see. We have got Mark Hawkswell as well as Viper Dave with us in chat. Tessie Trekkie is also chiming on in. Chris Lundgren has popped on into chat also. So, and I see Kathy Evans is with us. So chat is off and running. I'm assuming it's going to be a quieter show tonight because we're taking a look at a board game. So, all right. Next news piece. Menagerie Press is in the midst of a successful Kickstarter run to fund the first fully complete level 1 through 10 Shadow Dark adventure. And here's the latest on Sapphire Seas. Long ago, ancient King Mithon's kingdom dominated the islands of the Sapphire Seas. A sorcerer of great renown, his hubris and infernal dealings brought him ruin. The Sapphire Seas contains a series of island dungeons and adventures connected by the treacherous and bountiful Sapphire Seas. Inspired by Assyrian and Phoenician mythology, the Sapphire Seas lets adventurers navigate the dangerous waters between the islands and discover the secrets of a fallen kingdom. What's inside? A complete level 1 through 10 adventure for Shadow Dark, clocking in at over 350 pages. It is an A5 digest softcover format. There are 14 islands with detailed hex maps of each island, 20 unique dungeons, over 100 encounter sites, more than 10 full-page interior art pieces, 25 new magic items, over 25 new creatures, ships, sailing, crew, and travel rules, as well as overland sea-based hex maps of the entire Sapphire Seas region. You'll even find rules for crocodilians, beast people, and other ancestries of the Sapphire Seas. This project is fully funded, and you can reserve a copy of the 350 plus page PDF along with a print at cost drive-through RPG coupon for a $29 pledge. Or if you just want to reserve a copy of the PDF, you can do that for a $25 pledge through August 7th. Expected delivery on this is December. Now, you might recall we shared some news. There was it was a bundle of holding that featured a bunch of Shadow Dark third-party content from Menagerie Press. I don't think that is still going on. Don't think so. But that's where I recall Menagerie Press is from sharing that. And it looked pretty impressive. So here we go. First big, long, complete gamut from 1st to 10th level adventure for Shadow Dark. Might want to check that out. Moving right along, there is currently a deal over on Bundle of Holding, which features Hearts of Woolen from Age of Ravens Games. And I've got the deets on the deal. Adventura. This new Hearts of Woolen bundle presents, well, you guessed it, Hearts of Woolen, the tabletop role-playing game of Chinese wuxia action melodrama from Age of Ravens Games. In a fantastic ancient China, your martial artist hero can defeat massed troops, plot courtly intrigues, and race along walls or float lightly in empty air. But your amazing skills are powerless besides the entanglements of duty, loyalty, thwarted desire, and unrequited longing. Against wicked governors, treacherous rivals, feuding kung fu schools, shape shifting snakes, and the dictates of your tormented heart, can you hold to your ideals? Hearts of Woolen adapts the Apocalypse Engine rule system for your own high-flying, high-stakes epics inspired by Chinese dramas, movies like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, TV series like Laughing in the Wind and Legend of the Condor Heroes, and the martial arts novels of Louis Cha, a.k.a. Jin Yong, one of the best-selling authors of the 20th century. Tell tales filled with monks and peasants, princesses and Taoist priests. Wait a second, isn't it Dao? I think it is Dao. I keep glancing to make sure that that wasp was dead. That's all I need. Doing the show and all of a sudden get stung by a big ass wasp. Warrior Scholars and Lone Wolf Wanderers, spectacular swordplay, battles that defy gravity, forbidden kung fu styles, and training montages in those forbidden styles. Chivalry, betrayal, sacrifice, and already mentioned, the dictates of your tormented heart. They're all part of life in the community of sects, clans, and factions. This Hearts of Woolen bundle gives you the entire game line for a price within reach of the humblest novice, fresh from the Shaolin Temple. For just $7.95, you'll get all 4 titles in the Woolen collection. Retail value, $33, as DRM-free PDFs, including the complete Hearts of Woolen core rulebook, as well as 3 supplements new to Bundle of Holding. The World Source Book of Alternate Settings, Numberless Secrets, How to Run Judge D-Style Mysteries, and the Names and Entanglements Print and Cut card set. The 3 supplements have a combined retail value of $18. These savings will run through July 23rd. So if you are looking for a Chinese martial arts action, fantastical action, I must say, this is certainly a bundle you might want to take a peek at. And Raphael Moraes, I'm sure I'm not even close on that pronunciation, is with us in chat. Welcome aboard. Yes, I get a kick out of these oddball crowns popping up. Top fans! Like, okay. Just to me, it looks kind of weird. I don't know. Raphael says, we really need more Oriental theme RPGs. Oh, ouch! Oh, he used the O word. Oh. Says 5EL5R was horrible. Mark Hoxwell says, yes, they agree. These crowns are odd. And they just keep moving all over the place. It's like, what is it? Number of comments you make or something? I'll look into this. So maybe tomorrow we don't have to deal with these oddball crowns popping up. All right, on to our next news piece. A new big adventure is available from Exalted Funeral. Here's the lowdown on Black Antlers. Heretic herders butchered and frozen for all eternity. Black Antlers is a hypothermic nightmare crawl from Morkborg and other tabletop role-playing games, suitable for an evening of depravity or several sessions of play. Written as a sandbox, Black antlers can be dropped into any campaign or butchered and reconstructed to your liking. Set in Tuonela, a desolate northern hamlet, stuck in eternal winter, tormented by a herd of vengeful, reanimated reindeer, the players must find out what happened to Tuonela or join the frozen corpse piles. There are plenty of other things to do in Tuonela besides freezing to death. Rob a tumulus, group therapy with cannibals, treasure hunting under a frozen pond, drink piss with a witch, discover the many benefits of a vegetarian lifestyle. Packed with human flesh flavor and inspired by Sami folklore and movies like John Carpenter's The Thing, the disgusting pages within are radiating cosmic horror and full Pantone neons. The 20-page zine with PDF can be had for $15. There is a deluxe edition. For $35, it includes a cassette with the soundtrack, as well as some other items, some foldouts. I believe there's also a map. But as far as the zine itself, yes. Pizza Rackwood says, I'm good. Thinking about drinking piss with a witch. Thanks to Jeff. You're welcome. You're very welcome. DB is popping on into chat. James Eck is also with us tonight. DB says they got their ashes without number in the mail today, so they're feeling fine. Nice. Sarah D says the crown thing is based on who has earned the most points. You earn points by talking in chat and doing super chats. It apparently resets every stream. It's definitely to promote engagement. I don't know. Is it promoting engagement, gang? I don't know if it is. I do not. Well, because for one, it just doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason. Like, DB is very recently arrived. Of course, granted, they've thrown out quite a few, messages here. So they are holding the number one spot. Kind of weird, kind of wild. Let's move on to our last news piece, because now available in print and PDF is a zine adventure for Cairn's second edition. Here's what I know about terror in Twin Lakes. Oh, I'm sorry, not terror. It's trouble. For some reason, when I was writing this news piece, I thought it was terror. It is trouble in Twin Lakes. It is an adventure set in the Vald setting. 2 weeks ago, Aldra, the beloved butcher of Isthmus Town, suddenly vanished without a trace. Some days later, a local teen reported seeing a man swallowed up by the earth near Dead Mill. Others have also gone missing. Now the town folk are wondering who might be next. Trouble in Twin Lakes is the first in a brand new series of adventures for Cairn set in and around the Twin Lakes area. This 24-page softcover zine is available by way of Drive-Thru RPG for $2.99. That's what it says for the softcover zine, because the PDF itself is absolutely free. Sean O'Donnell says, ugh, Cairn is so bad. I don't know what the second edition looks like. I have the first edition. It's basically just a little zine. It was all right. It was fine. It wouldn't be my go-to if I was looking for a very rules light sort of fantasy role-playing game. There's a lot of stuff that I would go to first. Sean O'Donnell says it fails to accomplish its own stated goals. Yeah, that's always a problem. It is always a problem. All right, so that is it for the news tonight. Of course, I just mentioned Drive-Thru RPG. Don't forget The Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to go visit Drive Through RPG, Storyteller's Vault, Dungeon Masters Guild, Wargame Vault, any of those One Bookshelf sites, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banners. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And there is currently a Free League Publishing sale going on. Most of the Free League Publishing titles are at least 40% off in PDF. So if you are missing anything from Free League Publishing, and I mean, we're talking in PDF. Actually, you know, the printed stuff is on sale too, but I don't think it's as vast a sale. Tessie Trekkie says Cairn's second edition is impressive, particularly since it's available print on demand from Amazon there in Australia for less than $25 for both books. Nice. Very cool. Pete Strackledge said they're going to be ordering some Easy D6 from Drive-Thru RPG through our affiliate link. Thank you very much. You can also find our affiliate link down in the show notes. So it's down there too. So if you're ever like, what's Jeff's website again? Which by now you should know is thegaminggang.com. But if for some reason you're like, you know, having vapor lock, just take a peek at any of our videos. You will find our affiliate link to Drive-Thru RPG there. And of course, if you like this video, if you like the video, if you dig the channel, if you find the Gaming Gang to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, there are a couple of ways that you can support the outlet. First, you can make a one-time donation by way of PayPal. Hell, you can buy me a 2-liter bottle of soda. Why, that's delicious. Or you can become a monthly member of our Patreon. And on all my live streams, I always give a shout out to our Patreon members. At the $5 tier, we've got Gustavo Cavalho, Jason Lawman, Caval, Kevin R. Smith, Miriam Smith, Sean O'Donnell, and Talzek. Our $10 tier members, Dan Webb, GameCat, Pete Stracklich, RPG Munch, Tessie Trekkie, and Tier 2 DM. And then we also have our $25 tier members, Agile Monk, and our chat moderator, the Madman. So thank you, everybody, for helping to keep thegaminggang.com as well as the channel and everything else going. Yay. Show says, yeah, okay. Karen, well, okay. Tessie Trekkie says that Sean and Tessie Trekkie are disagreeing over Cairn. Oh, I see Sean O'Donnell has seen the second edition. I have not. I have not seen the second edition. I do understand it's a couple of books, so it has been expanded. One's a player's book, the other's a GM's book. In fact, I thought there's a box set. I shared a news piece about it. It's either a box set or, no, I don't think it's a slipcase. I think it is a box set. So Sean says, fair, I just hated playing it. I can understand that. There's been games I've played that other people like, and I was like, what the hell is this shit? It's like, seriously? Tell you what, very famous board game that tons of people love, bores the hell out of me. And it is Settlers of Catan. I would rather eat broken glass than play Settlers of Catan. I find it to be boring. It is just a boring game. I don't care for abstract board games much. Some of them are cool, but others where it's just rolling dice or if, just, we're moving shapes around. DB says Monopoly is the worst game ever made. I would disagree. I would say the game of life is the worst game because it's basically roll and move or spin and move. At least there's something going on with Monopoly as far as negotiations and stuff like that. But funny enough, I think one of the big problems with Monopoly is, and we've talked about this before, that you find most people don't actually know the rules to Monopoly, and that's why it just goes on and on and on. Forever. Matthew Blackwell's with us in chat. Says they're really big into Romance of the Perilous Land. I'm kind of surprised. They're running a campaign for their group right now. Everyone's having a blast with it. Good deal. I reviewed it, and it was, I mean, it was fine. I'm not saying it was terrible or anything like that. It was not, Settlers of Catan. But it didn't have enough difference. It felt too much like 5e because of course that's what it's built off of. It was built off the open game license. But DB says Philip K. Dick had a version of Monopoly he played with his kids called The Rat. I actually was part of a roundtable interviews at Comic-Con one year, and it was for the finals. Yeah, it was the final season of The Man in the High Castle. And Phil K. Dick's daughter was there because she was a producer on the show. She was really nice. She was very, very cool. So I did not know that that would have been a good question to toss in there. Pete Stracklet says, wow, Jeff, I found Catan new at the swap meet for $1 and sold it to the game shop for $20. I'm glad I did now. Some people love Settlers of Catan. It's, I have never been a huge, I've never been a fan of board games that are not thematic. I like some sort of a theme to my games. And yes, I understand there is a theme to Settlers of Catan, but Mayman says her Savage Worlds ETU campaign ended last Friday. Everyone survived, barely, also graduated. They printed realistic looking diplomas for the characters. East Texas University, folks. Anyway, I was going to say, if you were watching last night, I was talking about the oil leak. Still not positive where that leak's coming from. I am going to take it in to get a second opinion from another mechanic that my mom has had do some work on her truck. Opened up the cover to take a peek at the timing belt. The timing belt looks okay. There's no fraying. It looks like it may have been changed because you figure it's a 2010. It is 2025. It's a pretty clean belt, and it didn't look like it's got any cracks or anything like that. It didn't look all dried out like I've seen some timing belts. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on because I am certainly not going to shell out $5,000 in repairs. Nope. Chris Lundgren says Catan is okay, but it's not their first choice. But then again, they still like Talisman. I have never played that. Says Jeff doesn't like it. No, I've never played Talisman, so I can't tell you that I don't like it because I've never played it. I've seen it years and years and years ago. I think the Talisman I saw was back when it was with, gosh, I think it was Games Workshop had it. Games Workshop had it, the license for it for a while. Chanel says, Talisman is quite fun, Jeff. I'm not saying I don't like it. I've never played it. Never. Don't know what to tell you. Yeah, because if I played something I didn't care for it, I will tell you I didn't care. Chanel's like, join us. Come back to Mordor. Come back to Mordor with us. All right. So tonight, we are going to be diving on in. We are going to be taking a peek at the Pirate Republic Africa Gambit from GreenFeet Games. To my understanding, it is the second edition of the Pirate Republic. It is standalone. You do not need the original Pirate Republic in order to play this. So we're going to be diving on in. It is a pretty damn big box. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
No need for you to use a magic carpet to get refreshment. Close by, you'll always find the friendly red sign and delicious, ice-cold Coca-Cola.
There's enough bread and a tasty giant loaf to make 15 sandwiches. Bologna! 15 bologna sandwiches coming up!
This was my father's world, Mr. Barnett. The shrieking of mutilated victims became the music of his life. The blood of 1,000 men and women was spilled within these walls. Limbs twisted and broken, flesh burned black.
Starring Vincent Price, truly a master of the macabre. John Carr in a challenging role. Barbara Steele, more blood-chilling than in Black Sunday. And introducing taunting Luana Anders.
Nicholas.
Elizabeth? Is that you? Elizabeth? While we were up here mourning her, she was alive. Struggling to be free.
You are lying, sir. When Maria screamed, where were you? You lie!
going to torture you, Isabella. I'm going to make you suffer for your faithlessness to me. You harlot!
All the violence of angry seas. The unseen forces of the unknown. The unforgettable memories of a long-forgotten childhood. All these you will feel in your very blood.
Do you know where you are, Bartholomew? You are about to enter hell.
That pendulum blade just keeps going back and forth, and I can only imagine the character that's tied up there, yelling out like, "Okay, okay, come on, joke's over now. Come on, cut it out, come on." Hey, wasn't John Kerr in The Witchfinder General with Vincent Price? That's a pretty wild movie. For some reason, the name rings a bell. I don't know. It's been a long time since I saw The Witchfinder General. Interestingly enough, most of these Roger Corman Poe movies, I have never seen in their entirety. I've seen little bits and pieces. I feel about the Poe films, most of the Poe films, like I do Settlers of Catan. Sort of like, guess if it's the only thing on television. Moonrun Long tonight, we are going to be diving on in to take a first look at the Pirate Republic Africa Gambit from GreenFeet Games. This game is for 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 2 to 3 hours. You can late pledge right now for $85 through July 30th. Afterwards, the MSRP will be $100. I'm pretty sure it's 100. I don't think it's 99. DB says they love those movies. Then again, they were a child. You know what? I was young when I saw them too. So the reality is maybe if I saw them now, I would like them better. I think the reason why I wasn't too keen on them was because they're really not that horrific. So maybe that was it. Maybe I was like, hey, these just aren't scary enough. All right, so let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got the Pirate Republic Africa Gambit. And this is a big box. This is a big old box here, folks. Do want to mention the fine folks over at GreenFeet Games were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the gaming gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this first look with you. It's important you know that. We're also not going to delve into everything in this game. Also should mention, I think this may have been to a reviewer before it came to me. Don't know. We'll find out when we open this up. But there was no shrink on it. It was not like laying flat. So Sean Down says, bet he hates the 98 Talisman movie too. I don't even think I've seen it. All righty. Ahoy, me hearties. Welcome to 1713. After a decade of war, peace comes to the Spanish Main. With thousands of demobilized sailors, piracy reemerges in the New World across the Atlantic and into West Africa. A band of historical pirates known as the Flying Gang seek fame and fortune by building their own republic free from the shackles of kings, queens, and imperialism. It's a time of conquest and the lure of riches, indomitable spirit, and fat treasured galleons, pirate utopias, and watery graves. The Pirates Republic Africa Gambit is an immersive deck-building sandbox adventure game for 1 to 5 players. Players step into the boots of legendary pirate captains, crafting their own epic tales through daring feats and plundering on the high seas. Based on the original The Pirates Republic from 2017, this standalone second edition brings a treasure trove of new features to the table. West African adventures, a roster of new historical pirates, Portuguese adversaries, and an immersive campaign mode to enrich your experience. Embark on a swashbuckling adventure where you could etch your name in history as the greatest pirate ever known, or unite together to build the Pirate Republic and bring the imperialist powers to their knees. As a pirate, the life you lead is entirely in your hands. So gather your crew, unfurl the sails, and let the wind carry you to infamy. All right, looks like DB is rocking on out. Good to see you once again. All right, so let's see what we have got inside. So we have our game board. Looks like it's a pretty large game board here, too. Let's see. Just going to move that out of the way. So it is, looks like it's 3 panels by 2 panels. Yep, and that's exactly what it is. So here we have enemies of the Pirate Republic. Looks like this is our victory point tracker. Goes up to 119. So that's the North American coast there, or actually, it is the American coast. So we've got down here, Port Royal, Tortuga, St. Domingo, San Juan. Then out into, this is the African coast here, this section here. So these would have been the pirates, at least the African pirates, that Thomas Jefferson sent the U.S. Navy to dispatch. Pete Rackwood says that's an epic game board, by the way. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. And then we also have a section here with tidings and missions. And I don't know what this represents here. But yeah, really nice. Look kind of cool. All right, so that is the game board. Next up, we have got some player aids, it looks like. Yes. So we've got our round sequence, end of the game, scoring, actions that you can take, combat, move, scout, boast, establish a pirate haven, rest, declare infamy. We have a tidings die, some combat modifiers, talking about stacking limits and capture, and some reminders as well. Here is our rule book, version 09.3. So this is not the final release version of it. Each player's goal is to achieve the greatest amount of swagger victory points by the end of the game, which represents the end of the golden age of piracy. You decide when that will be. Gain swagger from immersive combat against imperialist powers and completing missions on the high sea. The game is played over multiple rounds until triggering an end of game condition. Chardal says, thought Jefferson went after the pirates on the Barbary Coast. They also went after, trying to remember what the country was, but they were pirates out of Africa. Chris Leonard's like, thanks for showing a board game. James X says, the shores of Tripoli and whatnot. Yes. So our game components, we've got ship tokens, merchants, pirates, tidings cards, global mission cards, personal mission cards, treasure cards, giving us our setup. So we have enemy stacks. That's what those were in the upper left corner. Those are enemy stacks. And it looks like they're going to have various different factors on them. So not every enemy ship is going to be the same. Here's our pirate setup. So I guess we've got the Spanish treasure fleet. We also have pirate hunters. That is kind of interesting how this is a cooperative game. Sean Donald says quite a few good pictures in that rule book. So some of you might recall that I shared coverage of a game called Unforgiven that went on Kickstarter, and it was a 2-player game. It was a card game, very, very unique. And one player was trying to convict Mary Surratt as being part of the conspiracy to assassinate Lincoln. And then the other player is defending Mary Surratt. And really, really interesting, really good game. That's with GreenFeet Games. I don't believe it was originally from GreenFeet Games, but they actually have a few various different games out there. This is their newest. So major concepts. So you have treasure cards, the personal mission cards, global mission cards, cards and deck building. It says tidings cards serve several purposes. Round events. So events that take place at the beginning of the round. Letters of marquee, or marquise as I've heard it, but I always thought it was letter of marquee. Territory randomizer, as well as combat modifiers. So here's the letter of marquee, round event, territory randomizer, and combat modifier. Madman says the rulebook looks nicely laid out, easy to understand with the inclusions of the pictures. Yeah, most board game rule books are pretty well laid out and illustrated. So here are ship tokens, land tokens, bloodshed markers. We have some ship miniatures, pirate markers, reputation tokens. Looks like there's quite a bit going on here. So this is dealing with the card token and pirate board anatomy. This is our pirate board here. We'll see those in a minute. So round structure and gameplay. The tidings phase. All players draw cards into their hand. A tidings card is put into play for the round. NPC tokens take their turns. Global missions only. All players draw their cards from their own pirate deck, placing them into their hand until the number of cards in their hand matches their current hand size limits. This is public information and laid out in front of the pirate board. Okay, so everybody's going to know what cards each of the players have. The action phase. So once again, we have the ability to rest, move. There's a tidings die, I think. Yes, a tidings die. So we have +2, +3, -1. Those affect movement. We have a white lookout on one of the faces. You draw a random ship token from either the ship token supply or any enemies of the Pirate Republic stack added to your territory's seaway. The red lookout has the same effect as the white lookout, except you cannot move to avoid this combat. And then we have treasure fleet, slave ship, and 1 reputation is another face on that die. So we have playing cards, basic effects, improved effects. You will acquire various cards throughout the game. When acquiring a card, you always place it face down on top of your pirate deck. Use your movement to sail your ship miniature around the map. So that's our movement there. So unlike a lot of deck building games, when you acquire a card, you're not putting it on top of your discards. You're putting it on top of your pirate deck. So the assumption there would be that the new card that you've acquired is going to end up in your hand on the next round. Laconic Lane is with us in chat. They were asking, does this game acknowledge the slave trade? Well, we are seeing it here. Says it's not something I want to gamify or confront in my free time, but I wonder if it's represented here. So there are slave ships that can be encountered. So we've got scouting, we've got combat, establishing the pirate haven, resting. These are all the actions you can take. Ending the game. The game end is triggered once the global mission is achieved and at least one player has completed a personal mission. In the standard global mission, this requires at least one player to have reached either 60 or 120 swagger as determined during game setup. And then we have level of and swagger. And that's what that table was on the bottom right. That is the swagger levels. Because I guess your level of swagger gives you special abilities. That's kind of cool. All right, so then we get into some detailed rules about combat. Looks like this has some complexity to it, that's for sure. And then there's a campaign mode. So it's a global mission sequence for the campaign. That's kind of wild. Solitaire mode, because yes, it's for 1 to 5 players. And then we have frequently asked anticipated questions. And a bit of pirate history. Okay, so these are our pirate boards. Looks like I think they're all the same. And they are multi-level here. You may not be picking that up, but these are cut. That's cool. Oh, so are these too. So for you to put cubes in. So that is that. You know what? I'm gonna zoom in a little bit because I think we're going to be looking at cards and things like that. Sharon L says Board Game Geek has the original Pirate Republic at 3.12 weight, which translates to somewhat complex. All right. So we've got some stickers here. Here we've got an insert. We have some cloth bags. Looks like we've got a bunch of discs in there. I think those are the enemies. We have some pirate ship miniatures. Like I said, I think another reviewer had this before it arrived here. Okay, so these are the various different enemy ships. And they do have, they do have different ratings for them. So these are both pirate ships. It's like 8441. This is 8442. Can't even really make out what. Oh, it's a merchant. So that's 2122. This is Portuguese. It's kind of cool. I like these discs. That's pretty nice. Chris Lundgren says they got a pirate board game at Goodwill called Privateer. Never heard of it. Now, I remember Elliot reviewed a Pirates of the Caribbean board game that came out. Which was from some company nobody had ever heard of. It was not an easy game to get your hands on. But he actually thought it was a halfway decent game. All right, so here we've got, I think these are our land tiles. Yep. Well, looks like we had a few more ships mixed into this. So these are our different land tiles. So, of course, they have a backing here. So I would think that they have the backing there. So if you did not have these draw bags, that you would just lay these out face down and then just pick them as needed. So it looks like we have same rating as we do with the ships. So it looks like combat. I think that is like land forces, pirates, and not sure what the little, I think that's a skull. Looks like a little skull there. Maybe. I am quite intrigued by this. Okay. We also have a bunch of these. Not a bunch, but I think there's like 6. Yeah, more than that. Maybe these are the global missions, but I would think you would know what the global missions were. Yep, these are the global missions. So each of these, that's kind of wild. Not sure why we'd have these little envelopes for them. Okay. So I'm trying to see, it looks as if each of the player colors has 5. It's like we also have forts, some miniature forts here. Feel like these are resin. Another ship there. So yeah, we've got red, we've got gray, we've got black, we've got yellow. We got a gold to bloom. Got a gold to bloom here, yeah. It's like a sail. Yeah, that's a different sort of boat there. That's kind of wild. We got the big old die. This is that tidings die. So remember, I said we've got the movement. We've got the white lookout. We've got a red lookout. And then we've got the treasure ship, slave ship. I think pirate ship was what it was there. Okay, so let's start looking at some of these cards because we got quite a few of them. Here's another one of those. But this actually has a little pirate flag on it, which I think might have been from those stickers. I am finding that there's a lot of stuff that's come out of the drawbags and stuff. Here we've got some cubes. Another drawbag. Feels like more discs. Yep. So that is 3 drawbags. Well, it certainly looks like you're getting your money's worth as far as the $85 with the pre-order. So I think these are your starting decks for each of the pirates. And then, weirdly enough, oh no, they're different. I was going to say, it's got to be, this has to have different like logos for them. They're supposed to be their pirate flags. So blow the man down, cut him to pieces, scourge of the 7 seas, strike your colors, try again, matey, a pirate's liberty, heel the boat over, fire in the hole, fire ship, grog before the fog, not so pirate's folly, and red jolly. So this looks like this is your starting deck, because remember, these are this is a game that's driven by deck building. Chris Liner says cards look kind of flimsy. Are they? I would not say they're necessarily flimsy. They're pretty standard, kind of bog standard cardstock. They do not have a linen finish. Obviously, any game that's going to, especially if it's a deck building game, you're going to sleeve these up, because deck building games, you shuffle the decks so often. Let's see. See, I keep running across stuff like this. Okay, here we got tidings. I'm not going to look at all of them, just kind of give you an idea. So we have scurvy, sea dogs, rum for Charleston. So once again, this is the event, the round event. This is the random place. There's no combat modifier on this card. Rains down in Africa. Yeah, you can play Toto. Well, you play that card. Pirate rendezvous. It's like we have different nations here too. Rest and relaxation. A loathsome trade. I'm wondering if maybe I should bring this with down to Gen Con. Because Elliot and I tend to, when we go to conventions, we tend to play longer games. So normally at Gen Con, we have our Twilight Struggle tournament. It's only one game, but it's an annual thing. Well prepared. Okay, so these are the tidings cards. So I'm looking to see. All right. Here are more cards. And these are cards that you're actually going to add to the decks, because I can tell from the backing here. I think we have some pirate cards in here too. I will say it's kind of a tight squeeze with this insert trying to get these cards out. So I'm trying not to damage the cards. Okay, so we've got some treasure cards, personal mission cards. Okay, that's with the treasure. Personal mission. Take that, Portugal. Telling you to sack a specific town. Silver-tongued. Secrets in gold. Establish a pirate haven on Trujillo or Virgin Gorda and scout a whatever that is. I'm taking over. Sacking a village. Governor's son ransom. Huh. Interesting. Okay. So those were the personal missions. Here we've got the treasure. Amaro Pargo's booty. Captain Stratton's treasure map. Oh, this is kind of cool. Carved ivory belt. So they're actually items. Incan Empire artifacts. King's stern chasers. Cool. Okay, so those are treasure. I think there were 25 of those. We've got a bunch of discs of different sorts. We do have 5 of these pirate decks with the appropriate markers for them too. I think these are the pirate cards here. Let's see. Oh no. So this is Sam Bellamy. This is just a nameless pirate. This is Calico Jack. Blackbeard. Some of these have been assembled, some of them have not. That looks like it's just a generic pirate deck again. Well, that's kind of cool. Let's take a look. These all, oh no. They're all different. So here's Blackbeard. Black Bart, Black Caesar, Mary Reed, Oliver Labuse. I'm not familiar with them. I guess this is showing us what the symbol is. This. Whoops. Right there. Huh. Well. I think that's it. Let's take a look at some of these. Well, wait a second. We've got. Oh, okay. I was going to say, yeah, there's something that's got like a red border on it. So these look like these are cards that you would be able to purchase and add to your deck. That's kind of cool. So we get some named character. Well, this is a named character. Barbary Vets, Eager First Mates. Once again, we're not going to look at all of them, just a few. Parlez-vous Pirates, Jacobites, Shellvox Mutineers, Sea Dogs, Brigands of Madagascar. So we have some that have blue borders and then others have red. I think the red are used in combat. Yeah, I think that might be the case. Smooth Sailing, Press Gangham, No Quarter Given. All right. So lots and lots of cards. That is for certain. And lots of goodies in this box. So rather than having you watch me putting this back in the box, this is the insert that it came with. So this is the gold, the bloom. So this is the insert that we've got. And I mean, everything is just packed into this. So pretty neat. Pretty neat. So once again, let's take a peek at that board here. I thought that's pretty sweet, the game board. That is a peek inside the Pirate Republic Africa Gambit from GreenFeet Games. It is still available for a late pledge. You can get this for $85. It is going to carry an MSRP of $100. You can late pledge through July 30th. And stay tuned. I will hopefully have a review of the Pirate Republic Africa Gambit in the not too distant future. Very cool. Very nice. Let's see, anybody I did not have an opportunity to say hello to in chat, I apologize. So I will say hello to you now. Right. Anyway, pretty impressive. Pretty cool. And I think it was Chris Lundgren talking about, I think he made a comment in the on the posts page about the pricing of this. I don't know. I mean, $85, $100 board game doesn't look way out of whack. I'll tell you that much. Okay, so that is it for tonight's show. Tomorrow, we are going to continue with our Monte Cook Games Month as long as the Paizo Inc. package does not show up. Because if for some reason it pops up tomorrow, we are going to dive on in and take a look at that player core for Starfinder 2nd Edition. I don't think it's going to be popping in to town until Friday. So more than likely, we'll be taking a look at High Noon at Midnight for the Cypher system from Monte Cook Games as we continue Monte Cook Games Month. Next week, we will be diving on in and taking a look at Mappa Mundi, which is from 3 Sales Studios, which looks really interesting. And the artwork that I saw for this was pretty impressive as well. So that is also on the agenda next week. We will probably be doing a Paizo preview where we'll take a peek at the new Pathfinder releases. We'll dive on into that deluxe boxed adventure for Starfinder 2nd Edition, etc. So hopefully you'll be joining me next week too. Also, we'll be off the week of Gen Con because I will be down at Gen Con, my best friend Elliot Miller. So even though we're not leaving until Wednesday, I'm leaving like really early Wednesday morning. So there will not be a show on Tuesday, the 29th. So just keep that in mind. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. If you watch live, Thank you kindly. If you watched live and took part in chat, bigger thank you, because not only are you keeping me company, you're also keeping each other company while I'm sharing the news or unboxing a game or paging through a book, what have you. But of course, I know a lot of folks out there, you don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Really do appreciate you taking time out to watch any of the over 2,200 videos here on the channel. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are not going to find here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. If you like the video, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, by all means, please do. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube. I'll also let you know when I share other videos, such as my recent review of my gosh, it's Age of Vikings. I almost said the Viking Age. It's like, why the hell would I do that? From Chaosium Inc. If you have not checked that out, give it a peek. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, I certainly hope every single one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.